Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 network. I'm hanging out with some homies. I'm hanging out with you, sitting at home, starting another week in Web3. It is Monday, February 5th. I don't know where the time has gone. We're already in February, folks. I don't know how we got here, but excited to be sitting here with Biggie Poppins, GIF E. What's happening over there in the top left?
Yeah, I know. Some cat was typing on my keyboard this morning.
Got it. All right, I'm sitting here with GIF Aid Ooze Percentage. Biggie Poppins, nice to see you back in your headquarters, sir. We are going to get started here in just a moment. Quantum Variant, SP, Jensen, Marty McFly. We will not be talking about any Daniel Allegre things. I regret bringing that up one time. Nox Darkness.
I don't know. Yeah.
What's up?
I don't know what you mean Biggie's back in his headquarters. Looks like he's in Nam to me.
Dude, it's war every day, baby. Every day it's war. And I love it. I'm here for it.
Somebody cute.
I love DJs in the morning.
I need that Oregon Trail behind you, Biggie. That's what we need, like the cart, the caravan right behind you. Folks, we got a lot of like broad news as well as kind of diving deep. Maybe live with you. These these 404s essentially are kind of taking over my timeline, at least right now. Pandora token absolutely going off. We have Ethscriptions as well that we can cover. I've got a ton of other, kind of broad topics like Apechain. We're seeing those proposals kind of come in. So we're actually picking the builders of Apechain while we decide if we even want Apechain. And if that doesn't tell you what's going on in ApeCoin DAO, then I don't know what will. So yeah, hopefully my bags can recover from this. Anyways, let's get into some co-host action here. Biggie Poppins, again, Fortunate Son playing in the background. Happy to have you, sir. Looks like you got some sun.
Yes, I did. And it was wonderful, but it is great to be back. I am going to be swamped this whole week, catching up with everything. But yeah, I'm ready to get into it, man. It's going to be a fantastic week, I think.
Gifted. Nice hoodie.
Thanks. Yeah, and I did lose my desk. It's gone. Never came back. It was reclaimed by the banks. Big banks came and took all my stuff because of all of the bad moves that I've been making in the bear market. So yeah, shout out to you all. Happy to be back. And yeah, Biggie literally matches the sun in his background.
Yeah.
Like he got so much sun, he turned into a sun. It's pretty magical.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Willy Wonka scene where she turns into a little berry.
Like purple.
You're turning orange.
Yeah.
You're turning violet. All right, look. Saiyans came on Say What this morning, which was cool. Shout out to them. We do like the Saiyans. I'm holding several Saiyans, so I am a Saiyan. But also I was not feeling great about their response on the royalties.
Oh,
I know we don't
starting
have to go,
the show here.
No, go down that rabbit hole. You don't have to go down the rabbit hole. All I'm saying is that Q, you initially were very gung-ho about being early and like being able to have some say in directing things and not making the same mistakes. And then it feels like you're just like, well, yeah, of course they're going to slash royalties. Because
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I did not say that.
I felt like that was the vibe. When I brought it up, I felt like that was the reaction that I got. And so I don't know.
I always, you know me, I'm always kind of in the middle on this and watching how the market decides what it wants. So when they responded that we're going to watch this ecosystem and not do anything to harm it, I thought that was super positive. The last thing I wanted to hear was, yes, we're implementing royalties tomorrow. And so when they came back and said, hey, we're going to be watching this.
Crucify yourself, right? Like, I mean,
but
I'm sure there's plenty of people that would want to hear that, but then you know how this space is. You say something and it's written in stone and they'll never let you forget about it. And if something changes, they don't want to hear about it. Yeah. They don't give a shit. And that's not their priority. Their priority is to build a superior working, UX for a market. Not like I was very interested in what Based Buddha had to say about that, right? Like how he implemented them on the contract level. I think that is something that should be closely looked at and like replicated and implemented in the space. But for the Saiyans to, I feel like they have plenty on their plate trying to aggregate these things and develop like a clean UI UX to also focus on making sure everybody gets their royalties. That should not be their priority.
Go ahead. You're the one that brought in this combo. We're not gonna.
No, I mean, again, we're early enough, and the marketplaces are important enough that if they wanted to create certain standards and expectations and have a certain value set,
well, they have.
They could,
by their actions, they have. Both exchanges.
All right, fine. We disagree then. It's fine. We agree to disagree.
Do you want them to plaster across their site? We love create like this marketplace came out as a tensor parallel. Like we were saying, this is going to be the blurred to palettes.
No, what I want is for people to say we are for creator royalties and then actually mean it. That's what I want. But I get why it's so fucking hard. Like again, it's like everyone's like, oh, but the markets. Like I don't fucking understand what competition and markets are about. I get it, dude. I get it.
So we just agree to bring it up?
Because of the way that they didn't say that specifically. They did not say we're for royalties. They gave themselves room to basically reduce royalties. That's what they did. And I just pointed it out. And then everybody's like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again with the fucking royalties.
It was me. We have this discussion every week.
I get it.
To me, it was this.
Wait, no, we don't have this discussion every week.
We do have it every week.
We are not.
Biggie Poppins, do we have this every week?
You're the new ecosystem with brand new first mover marketplaces moving. We are not in that specific context or conversation every week. I'm sorry, we're not. So.
Yeah, and I was the actual one that brought up that conversation. So I just wanted that to be noted in the logs of this court argument, that I was actually the one that was bringing this up to him and actually had him talk about it. So it wasn't like he just dropped royalties on my head. I was bringing this up because again, I want this to be an ecosystem where we do have that answer of we're going to take a look and see how this market is functioning. And dude, honestly, I've said it from the very beginning, and Biggie Poppins just mentioned it. Creators are going to get around this, or another marketplace is going to pop up, and they're going to be, we're for creator royalties, and then we'll use that. So
and Marty McFly is saying no one cares about royalties. Like, okay, all right, bud, good one.
It's a tough discussion. I paid royalties in every artist that I've ever minted. I paid fucking Yuga Labs, boom, boom, boom. I paid them what I paid when I sold my ape. So I'm over here paying a shit ton of royalties. It's not like I'm over here penny pinching, especially for artists that I super respect. So it just sucks that we have to have the discussion. I agree, but I was really hoping they wouldn't come out and say, we're going to go and do like, we're going to kill royalties. Like this isn't a part of our plan in the future. That's not what they said.
That's where I think it's a little bit gray, or we disagree, and that's fine. Because to me, what they said is as soon as market conditions and competition changes, then we're going to revisit. That's not what they directly said. That's what they indirectly said. No, that's what I think. That's what I think that they indirectly said. Yes, this is my interpretation, Q. You're right. This is my interpretation of what they said, because again, they did not say we are for creator royalties.
Yeah. Biggie Poppins, you want to jump into this fucking landmine?
No, not at all.
All right, you're already in the war.
I will just say, all these fellas back there, fighting for royalties, Giff. Fighting for royalties.
My man.
A big shout out to an artist that we're supporting by performing his royalties. I'm about to buy on the open market, and hopefully this guy has an awesome secondary market, because this was a free mint here on SEI. So Alive simply over here with his Alive collection. A lot of these outputs were really, really strong. So I really liked it. Yeah, Biggie, let me show off yours real quick as well.
You the palette link.
Look at that. I love Carrie coming in here with just next subject, please.
I agree.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Crypto Buffalo was hitting us up saying that there was 500. There was a 500 SEI sell, I believe 500 to 600 SEI sell. Now these are in super low supply right now. The mint hasn't finished, but yeah, it looks like it's going to mint out. Big congrats to Simply over there for sure. Biggie, you have any thoughts on this piece and these outputs?
Dude, I have a ton of thoughts about it. I love them. They're colorful, vibrant, very much alive. And dude, it was created with a lot of love. by this very talented individual and put together by the NYC Labs crew, who again, like highlighting some of the things that I'm seeing play out in this, in this new ecosystem, is like trying to do things differently, trying to do things in a new manner. I think, you have to have like a consciousness of what Web3 is all about, and I think this exemplifies it. Simply really thought this through, from taking the hashes from the original first block of SEI to kind of like putting in the seeds of this new ecosystem coming alive, and hence naming the collection Alive. One of the things that people I don't see it talking about a lot, and I pretty much appreciate, is no rarities. There's only two very obvious rare pieces in the whole collection: the Queen and the King. I know the Queen was minted already, lucky SOB, but I appreciate that. I think that this is going to stir up a lot of conversation around like the different pieces that one is going to seek to collect and appreciate, right? As opposed to sometimes just filtering through and going about it that way. I like that a lot. The fact that it's a free mint and that it was like deliberately allocated to people,
for 24 hours. DP's pointing out 24-hour mint.
And trying to just get people to come over and experience this great ecosystem. There's many things that were done correctly, differently, very thoughtfully, and I very much appreciate it. And I'm proud to have played a very small piece in it. So, yeah, man.
Thank you, sir.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's a cool project, and somebody said they're already trading on secondary. I don't see them on pallet. Maybe they're on market.
I linked the pallet, the Alive one, right here below in our private chat. You can see. Okay,
I'll go check that. People were pointing out that pallet is shipping updates more quickly now, because obviously this is how this works. So now they have a see more button that takes you to the full project page at the bottom, and apparently they integrated a sweep function, or they released a sweep function as well now. So I haven't used it yet. Apparently pallet also has a sweep function now. No dark mode still, as far as I can tell.
So I did want to have the SEI conversation later in the show. Like again, we have a SEI focused show on SEI.
I'm just derailing everything today.
No. I'm just telling you guys, like we're discussing this stuff, but I want to have the SEI discussion just because, again, NFT Live, we want it to be a portion. We're obviously super psyched on it, but there's a ton of people here for other all-chain stuff too.
Yes,
but Gif, what was your last point here?
I mean, it can wait for the SEI combo, man, because there's a couple different things I want to dig into on SEI.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll have that time to do so. Here's today's episode, folks. Appreciate you joining. We just pressed live. If you could go over there, repost it, leave a reply, do what you can, and also, if you don't mind, leave a like on the show. Again, just supporting what we do up here. Again, I feel like we say it enough, and maybe we should say it more. But we pay your support. So this is the show for the day. Apechain is going to be the first topic that I want to get into in just a second. I do wish we had Huda here to talk about Quantum Cats, because Huda did get his Quantum Cats finally from whatever jail they were in. And then we're going to talk about Ethereum. What's going on with Ethereum? We did just talk ETH404s. Like, apparently there's this new token standard that's taking off, but also Ethscriptions. Gifted was on a space with the Nakamingos, which was like a play off of, I guess, the Nakamingos, but in a flamingo style.
Cousins, yeah,
a little cousin action. But that was about Ethscriptions. And then Miley Cyrus's hair, Gif. We're getting into Miley Cyrus's hair today.
Can we mint it?
Well, there's important news coming out of the Grammys, which, hopefully you all, I'm sure everybody here was watching the Grammys last night, right?
I've swore off those.
We all watch all the award ceremonies, right?
I only look for the Celine Dion portions. That's all. Celine Dion.
Yeah. They turned super crazy, but yeah, I used to watch those all the time.
The quick headlines on that, I pretty much got it for you. Ready? This is it. In 1 minute, I will break down all of your Grammy headlines real quick here. This is it. Taylor Swift wins album of the year. Travis Scott snubbed again, 10 noms, 0 wins. Killer Mike took down all 3 of his and then was arrested. And a lot of questions happening around, like, what's going on with Killer Mike, etc. Miley Cyrus finally won her first Grammy. Congratulations, Miley. Apparently some controversy about her hair. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we won't. I don't actually know what the fuck that's about. It's just weird people talking about weird shit. And then Jay-Z took a shot out of the Grammy, probably promoting some new alcohol. I think he also won, etc. That's pretty much all of the Grammy headlines and highlights. That's it. I wrapped it up for you.
You missed
TMZ Live, baby. Let's go.
You missed one key component of all this, GIF, is that when Taylor Swift got up there and it gave her acceptance speech, she announced the drop of her new album. Everybody went crazy. And then she said, I'm going to go backstage and post about it now. And I immediately in my head, I was like, what a missed opportunity. You know, what a missed opportunity if she could have dropped that on Web3, right? As an NFT. Go claim it now, and you'll get a POAP if you claim it in the next 30 seconds, right?
Interesting
I don't
point.
know. Interesting way. I mean, she was on national television. How many fucking people saw that all around the world? If you wanted to just get a direct line, cut out the middleman, and just go straight to your most ravenous fans, that was a perfect moment. And I get it. You gave it to Instagram. You gave it to fucking Facebook.
Dude, quantum variant.
Thankful for it. But what did you get, Taylor Swift?
Sorry, Buffalo.
Nothing. I think you're going to lose the Super Bowl because of this. Sorry.
Look, we do our best to cover everything across technology, design, and culture. So, you know, we're going to get into some things here. But also don't forget, Biggie, when she endorsed Joe Biden. And that was maybe the biggest news.
All right.
Y'all. Quantum Variant saying that he worked on the Killer Mike Run the Jewels album cover. Yo, share more about that, please.
Yeah.
I'm a huge RTJ fan. Huge RTJ fan.
Marty McFly saying I'm a Swiftie. That's one of the most surprising things I've ever heard. I am a Swiftie, but could care less about anyone else. Travis Scott sucks balls. No award shows for years and years. I agree with you. Like, I used to actually watch some of the award shows. And the only reason I would like tune in, I think in the past 10 years, was when Ricky Gervais was just getting after
blaming people.
Hilarious.
That was awesome. All right. Anyways,
Ricky is a fucking legend.
We're hopping back into NFT Live here. We're going to be discussing some NFT related topics, which is, drum roll please, the Yuga show is back. We have Apecoin DAO voting on whether or not it even wants an ape chain. This comes from the Bored Ape Gazette. So there's two simultaneous things happening here, okay? We have the vote for the Apecoin DAO and whether we want it, and we also, or I'm sorry, Ape Chain, and then we also have competitors, suitors, if you will, discussing, hey, this is what we could bring to the Ape Chain. So in a way, it's good, but in a lot of ways, it's super negative for the reasons that I'm just about to tell you. But yeah, Apecoin DAO voting on whether or not it wants an Ape Chain, and most, at least right now, are voting yes on this. You can see here they will choose between Polygon, Horizon Labs, and Arbitrum teams. The A team, okay, I guess Horizon and Arbitrum are together. The A team, which is Machi's, Optimism Group, or ZK Sync. So those are the potential suitors for Ape Chain right now. There's been
nothing about it, but the A team should be last on the list.
You don't like Machi's group there? At least they're native.
It's not that I don't like his group there. It's that I think he's trying to do too many things. Isn't he trying to do his dating app? Like,
dude, he slept and fucked that one up, bro. Yeah.
Okay, but
well, I think Frank died at the same time, so they were like,
for that very reason, he should not be given the keys to the kingdom to do this, right? Like, in my opinion, you want people that are 100% devoted and committed to this. I know that he's been very vocal about this, but again, I don't like seeing people that, you know, if you're going to be a founder and I don't know, if you're going to develop something as serious as this, like I don't want that person to be like a shiny object syndrome type of person. And he strikes me as that, you know, halfway through the fucking development, he turns around like, oh, you know what? Now I'm going to launch this other thing and, you know, put this thing on the side for a while. So yeah, I said it. No, not the
I agree.
So, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of context about what's happening with Apecoin too, because the voices, and again, Yacht, if you're listening to this, you know you're on my freaking Mount Rushmore, man. I'm just trying to be as objective as possible with what's happening with Animoca and the DAO right now, Apechain DAO, that is, or Apecoin DAO. Animoca has pretty much locked in through its partners and its own entity and Mochaverse, sustained a phenomenal position of governance and voting power. And so this is a comment from the summer that is only now starting to get louder. 500,000 leaves Apecoin DAO to fund an Animoca employee who makes nice power. So this was the Ape Accelerator. That was, I believe, Harry Liu's Ape Accelerator. And then Sandbox was one of the major voters for this. So there's even louder voices happening now, basically saying that Apecoin is an absolute failed experiment, that it was taken over and is simply, again, the comment we were making 6 months ago about this, or the months ago about this when the voting was a little bit skewed, was that it's being sucked dry. The treasury is being absolutely sucked dry. It's not like Yuga's stepping in to really save this at the moment. And so you have a situation that is basically like, what's going to happen to the Apecoin DAO? So that's the part I want to add to this, is like the outsiders trying to come in and suck this dry a little bit, saying, oh, we'll bake something for Apecoin DAO and then we'll take $1 million or whatever. It makes me a little wary. I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for him, but I'm just trying to add that context. But Gif, go ahead.
I don't know if I have much to add on that front. Seems like it's been kind of difficult going since the beginning. But I agree that I'm more wary now after seeing how Machi kind of jumps from thing to thing, about him being, the guy on this, because again, he's so fickle that he literally could just rug the whole thing himself. I don't think he'd want to. He obviously has reasons why he's invested in this ecosystem, but it's just like there seems to be so much ego and other things going on with that guy, that it does worry me. And yeah, that sort of like the dating app / social thing was weird. I don't know, man. I haven't been paying as close attention, but it just seems like they're in a tough spot right now.
Yeah, the discussion over which chain or which foundation is going to be in charge of this, I think, is obviously a good one to have. For my money, I would not want Polygon close to this project. I just think that they just don't have the sentiment. Again, we need to have the Web3 ideals here and understand that sentiment is super important. It's one of the reasons and Choina, close your ears, that we were talking about Avagachi potentially moving to like a Ronin or moving to something that has a little bit more momentum. That's the same reason I'd say no to Polygon. Optimism, I wouldn't mind. Something like Base is attached in that ecosystem, but they I guess they're not up for it. ZK Sync, again, that's going to be more Polygon related. So maybe I'm hoping that Arbitrum comes out at the end of this. It doesn't feel like those are the best options, but that's what we're left with. So we got Polygon, Arbitrum, Machi is working with the Optimism guys, it looks like, and ZK Sync. What are you choosing?
Arbitrum.
Arbitrum? Okay.
Interesting.
Did Machi dump all of his Apecoin? Really? That's what. So Quantum's saying Machi only has one Apecoin now. He has already dumped all of his.
Sheesh.
That would be huge. I mean, he was one of the biggest holders.
And there you go, man. That's pretty ridiculous.
So here's the whole thing: is like, what happened to his proposal to sweep that passed? That passed. What happened to that money?
Yeah, the like 12 mil or whatever it is.
He probably what did he rage quit from that? Let's see. Let's have one take from him and then let's move on, because it's kind of a rabbit hole discussion. But seriously, this is one of my bigger bags. It was supposed to be attached to one of the largest NFT collections. It was supposed to be super successful, and really it's been nothing but an abject failure. So Machi here saying Polygon is offering 3.6 million USD for the privilege of operating Apechain. You have to take that into account. 20 million OP is currently worth 60 million USD. Choose wisely. Never mind, we are Apecoin now. The council chooses for us. There you go. There's the. What he's saying is true though, Biggie. What he's
that's
saying?
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine, dude. Look, I'm not. I've always in the. You know this. You got the receipts. I always say I'm not part of the ecosystem. I'm not well versed on it, so my opinions don't carry too much weight. I am strictly. And maybe I mean I don't know. Take it for what you will. But I'm as objective as they come when it comes to this thing. And this dude just strikes me as somebody that's mentally unstable. You cannot depend on this, and I don't give a shit, right? Like. Fucking, I'm saying it live. Like, just, dude, he has some good takes. He's obviously not a dumb person, but I wouldn't want to fucking depend on this person for anything.
Aren't we all a little mentally unstable?
I think the most you're hoping for here, you're trying to take into account the state of the ecosystem. And here's the great example of the ecosystem, right? The first comment says, and who chooses the council? And Machi says, good question. That sums up the ecosystem very well. I've been in it. I've been talking with people in it, and it's just something that's controlled by outside forces. And so at this point, Biggie, I get where you're coming from, but right now you're kind of looking around as an ApeCoin holder being like, what is left? Like where else it's almost that last ditch effort of like, who else can I turn to? And I agree with you. Turning to Machi is a very, very big risk. But at this point, it's like, okay, are we going to be talking on ApeCoin at 30 cents in 6 months? Or can we turn to somebody that knows how to pump shit and maybe we get an exit? That's it. At this point, that's what I think a lot of people are waiting for.
This is, and you know what?
Yeah.
If we take a step back, I think this is a great case study for the challenges of DAOs in general, is that even when they have a little like really legitimate treasury and community, like they still can't figure out how to operate and be efficient.
Everyone's fucking sucking the teat, dude. It pisses me off. Go ahead.
But to me, it's like, why do you even want a DAO? Like if you try and go back to first principles and understand like the whole idea, to me it's like, okay, you want to create a new organization model that improves upon certain things that aren't great in other organization models. Otherwise, like there's no reason to even go that route. And I believe that that's primarily through, supposed to be decentralized governance and more equitable sort of like sharing in it, and maybe to automate certain aspects of running an organization. It doesn't seem like this is achieving any of that right now, really. I mean, maybe it is a more decentralized governance. Maybe it's not. It kind of seems like people are saying that it's actually pretty centralized. It's basically just issuing grants. And it also feels like there's even more bureaucracy to getting anything done than a lot of other more centralized organizations. So
it has all the issues that
exactly. It doesn't seem like it's solving. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's solving anything. And that's what I'm picking up on here, is that
you need strong leadership. I've always said it with DAOs, you need strong leadership. And as much as that, you have a say, and you get to vote and you get to make proposals. I think the best DAOs you will see acknowledge and recognize strong leadership. And yeah, it doesn't seem like that's present here at all, especially when people are considering this individual as the caretaker of it.
We have talked about this DAO for a long time, and we've been a part of the conversations, and we've tried to platform people that are in the ecosystem, all that stuff. What this feels like after a year and some change of this DAO is like and I'll use Giv's term, first principles, or when it was first created, the foundation was absolute quicksand. And I don't know who the fuck we can point to in spotlight for the failed leadership, but what it feels like is the Yuga guys were put into a corner by their investors to start this thing so that they could cash out. And there was nobody in that position that said no. That basically, in that scenario, either was put in charge of the DAO to say, this is where we're headed. This felt like a scam from the very start, dude. Like, this is what I'm trying to get my head around, this situation that has felt like it's fucking quicksand. You try to get yourself out, and you can't, because at the very top, from the very beginning, there's been no ability for a good leader to step in and do this stuff. Really. They're almost like hamstrung because the investors control it. And Marty, honestly, it's a ridiculous statement, but outside of Gordon or Yuga stepping back in and saying, no, we're fucking taking this back or something, which they'll never do because of legal reasons. It's felt like dude, the whole thing has felt like a goddamn scam. I don't know how else to put it down. I think it's a great example of a scam from the very beginning.
Seems like a great time for us to actually do the old handy dandy, because we haven't yet on this show. So just remember, fam, if you're out there, you can hear our voices, that nothing we talk about on this show or any of the shows on the Web3 network should ever be misconstrued as financial advices. We're not financial advisors. We never will be, never have been. I don't have any plans to be, frankly, but just remember that. All right. Do your own research. We have to say it. I know it gets annoying sometimes because you're like, oh God, it's repetitive, it's redundant, but it's for your safety and ours. We got to say it. NFA, DYOR.
Right, I'm gonna bring up some of these Bitcoin ordinal collections. I've got Quantum Cats. This is our very own Huda finally getting his 2 Quantum Cats. So big shout out to him.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna bring up some others. Did you guys have any thoughts on Quantum Cats? I know Huda was basically saying that it was like holding up the ecosystem essentially because people had funds locked up in this. Quantum Cats, it looks like it had a good mint, no issues. And what are y'all's thoughts?
I hope I can get in public. I'm praying. I don't know.
What are the details there?
I think there's going to be like 400 up for grabs. I don't know whether mint price, again, like I think Huda would say no, it's not a detriment. I would say perhaps it's still high, right? And I don't know, man. Definitely in the Bitcoin ordinal ecosystem, I can see how that statement is true, that people are holding a certain amount to try to get into this. But like we said before, like overall, I think, I mean, you can look at the SEI network, you can go look in Solana, you can go look in ETH, like there's things pop. Farcaster, dude, fucking going nuts.
Yeah, we need to do a deep dive. Can you pull up the pups though? Can you go look at the pups chart real quick?
Yeah.
Dude, the puppets, the pups. Let's go look at that chart. Because Q, I told you to buy in when it dipped, bro. And this chart's looking strong. It's looking pretty good over here. I'm just saying, if you're not a puppet, I don't know. This was my first Ordinals move. I'm loving it. I like the pups. I like the meme.
Are you in Discord or Telegram?
No, I haven't yet.
I wanted to see if they were able. I think that's a fun one for you. I feel like
the one thing I have to say. The one thing I have to say is that the only person that I've engaged with on a space that was rocking a puppet was a horrendous troll that was basically like saying homophobic slurs and shit. So I don't know. That's the
nice.
The one thing is that I don't know if they've got some Malay vibes or what's going on there exactly, or why people have to go online and like literally throw like slurs around like that's cool and funny. I don't know, man. That's disappointing. But other than that, loving this project.
So there was an R6 sweep as well.
Yeah, I want to know when you're gonna actually make an entry, because I know you've been sleeping on it. You've been in lust with SEI. You've been dabbling in base a bit. You have been expanding to other places.
But I haven't been doing the base expansion well. Like that's a topic we can bring up in a second. Like my next spot that I'm going to be in and allocate time is back into base. You know, we caught base early, but like I'm exposed somewhat, but not as much as I'd like to, seeing as everything's kind of picking up on that front. Farcaster, you mentioned, has that I believe it's like an optimism/base integration. Like I know we were trying to figure out what that was at the end of GM Web 3.
Yeah, I think a lot of the tokens that are being launched for these so-called communities or whatever are on base, which facilitated a lot. Truth be told, though, man, it's crazy, right? Like I do like the UI of Warpcast, right? Which is like, I guess, like you could call it the skin that's built on top of Farcaster protocol. And I've been following a couple of communities and people there, but what I've been seeing taking place more above all is tokens, degen tokens. And there's some fucking crazy one. I don't know if you saw S-Bucks, like Starbucks. it's insane. Like you have to like basically create a completely separate wallet, like completely, like just, you know, assume you're going to get rugged. And then you share your seed phrase with the yes, Q. This is what happened. And it has to have a certain amount of ETH or whatever. And then based on the amount of ETH, when you share your seed phrase, I guess you received. It's degeneracy at its craziest form, but there are gains to be made. I am seeing a lot of different people do really well over there, right? Like if you're into the meme coin, I think like that seems to be a place where it's popping off now. Intelligent conversation, networking, you know, some people want to say that there is. I have yet to find, again, the friend tech thing, right? I've yet to find something that I'm actually wowed by.
Gotcha.
I think the main driver right now that's pulling in most people there is the opportunity to get in early on some of these meme coins that are getting launched. And from what I understand, like they are integrated into certain like communities or stuff. So you're like able to tip or pay in that token. I don't know. I'm not in the biggest rush to go into any of these tokens yet because I don't understand them. I will be playing with the platform though to see, you know, any innovations or things that stand out as different from what has come before it.
I want to mention this innovation really quick because we've been kind of hovering around it. Pandora and ETH404s. So ERC404s. So this, obviously you see the token, the NFTs are up to 2.1 ETH, and you can see Huda here as well. So even though Huda's not here physically, he's here, or metaphysically, or however we want to say it, he's here in spirit. So he's saying we've seen a bunch of new token standards over the years, and man, this one feels different. And so we've seen Bitcoin ordinals, we've seen stamps, we've seen now Ethscriptions. It feels like ERC404s. Here's another thing that you need to be paying attention to, folks.
But I wish he was here to explain that comment. Like, why does it feel different? Like, I feel like that's the type of sentiment that everybody jumps on whenever number go up. So I just want to unpack it and understand why it feels different. Like,
yeah.
what's the new product?
What's the tech?
New tech? Yeah, like what's the thing?
So the NFTs are now, the last post by Tyler was this morning, and that was 1.5 ETH. And then the next post is an hour ago, and they're now 2.1. To your point, Gif, I don't have the tech innovation piece in front of me. Let me see if I can potentially pull that up. But ERC404 seem to be doing extremely well. I'll try to find this while we're live. It's going to be tough, but...
Okay. ERC404 is a proposed standard for Ethereum focusing on creating a framework for ethical guidelines in the development, deployment, and management of smart contracts and decentralized applications. It emphasizes the importance of considering ethical implications in the block space, advocating for transparency, accountability, and positive social impact. The proposal suggests developers and organizations adhere to ethical principles to ensure that their projects contribute to the welfare of users and do not harm individuals or communities. By integrating ethical considerations into the technical standards of Ethereum, ERC404 aims to foster a more responsible and sustainable ecosystem for decentralized technology.
Okay, that's a lot of
fluff.
A lot of word salad, but what you have to be looking for here is these token standards, getting on them early. I'm not saying spend all your time or money and all this stuff, but that was probably a lot like what BRC20s sounded like when they first started.
Dude,
right?
This sounds like a vegan token, like like it's tasty.
Well, in that word salad, if you turn that word salad into a word cloud, one of the biggest words is ethics,
and
right? So it seems like what they're trying to do is create a more ethical token standard, but like that's a strange thing. Because
you know what, Gif, based on this, bro, it feels like what they're trying to do is almost like inscription based, where they're turning NFTs on Ethereum into the fungible portion. So you can see here, it's a simple and elegant way to put NFTs onto DEX screener and liquidity pools off the bat, tapping into the token buyer base instead of going to something like a Blur or OpenSea. Yeah, this is super degen heavy.
Why are they wrapping all that in ethics? I guess I'm just, that's kind of confusing to me.
Narratives to confuse people.
Yeah. All right, this is interesting though. Like, I'm glad we're exploring it. This is my first time hearing about that. I guess this is literally popping off like right now. And again, there's a couple different things. We're in this bull bear, right? I think we liked that term that Roger Dickerman threw at us last week, where it's like we're obviously not in a bull market yet. We kind of have one leg in the bear market still, or things are still slow. We don't have a lot more people coming in yet. But there's a lot of development and interest circling around certain narratives, and there are things really starting to pick up. Farcaster is one that we need to do a deeper dive into. I don't know if we'll get to it on this episode or not, but definitely this week. Stay tuned, subscribe, pay attention. We're going to be doing some Farcaster content. We're seeing base, we're seeing SEI, we're now seeing new token standards, ordinals. I mean, it is exciting. I don't know where this goes though. This feels like a strange one, and who knows? Maybe this is the type of thing though. One of the other things that it's a headline today that we haven't mentioned really is the Nobody project on Ethereum. Maybe we are starting to see some more new developments on Ethereum that does start to bring some interest back there, because it's been Solana art, it's been everywhere except for Ethereum.
Unfortunately, I think like the bull bear comment's really good, because I think unfortunately, and we all know this, it's the elephant in the room, there's not a lot of retail collectors that are here. There's just not. And again, what this is showing, ERC404s and the interest behind that, is going again to who is here. The people that want to fucking degen. And it sucks for people that are trying to build like legitimate collections and not have mercenary capital flow from project to project. But I mean, it's a tech innovation that we can dive into. But at the end of the day, they're again treating NFTs like fungible tokens. It's not really at the heart of what most people think about NFTs. Now, again, that can develop over time. We're super open to new ideas, new thoughts, and all that stuff. But this is saying ERC404 is an experimental mixed ERC20 721. So exactly what we just said. Implementation with negative liquidity and fractionalization. While these two standards are not designed to be mixed, this implementation strives to do so in as robust a manner as possible while minimizing trade-offs.
But there's always a trade-off.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
The standard is entirely experimental and unaudited, while testing has been conducted in an effort to ensure execution is as accurate as possible.
And again, it brings me back to like, I wish Huda was here to kind of justify the comment that we saw, because it's like, why does it feel different than other things? That's like, I'm still not sure on that. You know what I mean? Because it to me, it feels very much like, heavy degen play, trying to find a new way to like spin up liquidity or, capitalize on liquidity in some new way. But I'm not, it's not clear to me what the innovation is doing other than taking your liquidity into a new place. Mm-hmm. It's just like the new shiny object again, right? Like, I don't know. That's where I'm confused still. But again, we're just discovering this, just talking about for the first time. So hey, if y'all know more, please share with us what you know about it.
Quantum Variant saying, does 404 have royalties? Lols. I'm guessing not. Wow. All right, Ricky O'Donnell. Ricky O'Donnell's 79 is saying, whoop whoop, coffins, number 622. Yeah.
Dude, thanks for bringing this up. This is dope.
The NFT jungle.
Dude, Ricky's been one of the biggest, like, this is one of the crazy things about this space is I've never met Ricky, but he absolutely has been one of the biggest supporters of my art now. And he just, I guess, picked up one of these rare compositions of the coffin grids, and fuck, shout out Ricky O'Donnell. That's dope, man.
Don't you lose his number.
DP is coming through saying the ERC404 is not much different than other standards. It just has built-in fractionalization.
The fractionalization thing,
you can basically on Ethereum now trade NFTs on something like a Uniswap. That's basically what I'm hearing. Is you can trade NFTs on Uniswap in individual versions.
Which, I don't know that that's like I don't know that that was the thing that I felt like I was missing, but I guess that's good. You know, again, just making NFT trading more accessible in more places. Like I'm trying to see how that is beneficial. I suppose it is. And if it does open up NFT collections to more liquidity, I'm for that. I think that's probably beneficial. I don't know. The fractionalization thing still has a lot of question marks. You know, what's another thing that we haven't really been talking about lately is flooring protocol. That was like a heavy topic. It was
Wasabi.
like,
Wasabi is definitely there. That has gotten a lot of traction. What is the Wasabi piece of their like perps and allowing short longs? That's gotten a lot of traction in
have y'all played with that? Have either of you been shorting or longing NFT projects?
No, man.
You probably should figure out how to short a lot of this shit.
Keeping up.
What do you have on flooring?
Well, we experimented with it a little bit. I had a couple Onis over there and I was trying to farm and participate. And to be honest, it didn't end up making sense. I felt like I was losing more money in gas transactions than it was making me. And then I ended up trying to get my Onis back out of it, and it was messy, and I had to go like try and buy more of their tokens to even get my Onis back out. And I basically was like, fuck this. Yeah. Like it was just one of those things. It's like, I don't think you're actually providing enough value to justify how much time and energy and gas and like I just don't really understand some of these fucking protocols.
It's because you're not a trader, bro. Like traders, they want access to Oni Force in fungible ways. So you were essentially providing that with the U tokens and all this stuff. Like U Oni was a way for somebody to get access. Like I don't do it. You know what I mean? Like
I'm just saying like I'm not convinced yet in my experience that one's gonna make it, but maybe Wasabi, to your point, is the product that has a better product market fit. Maybe it's got more users with better experiences. But again, I'm curious what y'all think. If you've used flooring protocol, I just think it's one of those things. It's interesting because, you know, these narratives come and go as quickly, they go as quickly as they come. We were super hot and heavy on flooring, talking about them for, I feel like 2 months straight or something like that. They kept updating things. They had a tremendous launch. It seemed like they had a bunch of liquidity and, you know, volume locked or whatever overnight. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot more recently, but Wasabi, to your point, is like maybe the one thing that we've still kind of talked about.
I think the interest is still there, and I think flooring was doing a good job like creating new products. But as far as like the interest from people, that was the other thing, is the product was like, oh, you have to spend. They offered something like 200% APY, right? They that's what the offering said, and then it actually was just an estimation based on people using the pool, right? Because when you had to buy those extra tokens, GIF, or take out the thing, you were paying into the pool of the remaining lenders. It's like, well, what if no one takes anything out? Then I don't get any APY. But you're saying I get 200% APY. So it was, anyways.
It was a bunch of nonsense.
This is interesting right here. This is super interesting because this is the first time I've seen this tag, or maybe I'm incorrect, but eligible for 50% diamond bonus. So Teddies is being brought up in chat. Diary of a Pro Gambler saying, do you guys have any thoughts on the Teddies mint on Solana yesterday? Seems to have gone pretty well. Floor price is sitting at around $200. The art has not revealed yet, but there is some like teaser art that we can kind of look at. But this 50% diamonds bonus is basically that new update to their
they did. Yeah, that's the first time that I've seen, I guess, or we've really focused on the tag. They did launch with that. When they launched the diamond rewards, they had several collections that they were doing these bonuses with. So I guess this is a continuing thing now where just by trading, you know, again, it's incentivizing trading. This is their version of Blur rewards, as far as I can tell, right? So you get additional diamonds for participating during, I guess, certain windows when these promotions are happening. I am curious how these work. I assume that there's some deals, you know, that these collections are making deals with Magic Eden on this, you know, that it's a revenue stream for Magic Eden to say, you know, give us a percentage or pay us a flat fee and we'll give you, you know, 1 week or something highlighted this way. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to hear, you know, from a team that's kind of been partnering with Magic Eden on this. We got to get Magic Eden on the shows. We haven't had Magic Eden, I don't think, yet.
They're hard to get a hold of. Those guys,
they're busy.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the art right there that I showed off?
It's cute. It's the colors are not like really my vibe too much because it's very like sort of pink and soft and Eastery.
Like Doodles-esque.
It's very Doodles-esque. Actually, that's a very good call. Yeah, at least the color scheme, again, it's like sort of very themed. But the art looks decent. Like it looks like they've got a pretty solid style and they look very chill. You know, like the kind of Utesy too a little bit. I feel like people really fuck with this sort of like super chill vibe, you know, and it'll probably do pretty well. It looks like it's already doing pretty well. So I don't know. It's my first time looking at it. I have to dig in further, but art looks pretty good. Yeah,
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention there, Gambler, because that was the first time I've seen that diamonds drop tag be awarded. So that's super interesting.
We should, if we're talking about new projects, we should touch on Nobody.
Yeah, let's hit that here in just a moment. We did bring up base. I'm getting more heavily involved in base because I do feel like it's like SEI in December. Essentially, like one of the reasons why my attention turned towards SEI is that one, the ecosystem is just way more active. Like and that still exists today. Don't think that like base is this bumbling like crazy ecosystem right now. SEI has a ton more going on, but I do feel the rumblings of what's happening. So I'll mention a couple things. One, a couple of the meme coins have done well, but Planetfall, this is Parallel. This is one of the best Web3 games in the space, saying you now have a bridge for all of our assets here, essentially, to be on base. So the fact that they can have all trading cards, I think a ton of people will take advantage as long as the gas isn't too much and the bridge is okay. I don't know how that looks.
I'm starting to feel bummed out on ETH.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
It's bumming me out because I've consistently invested in like the ETH versions of things. And it seems like I'm overpaying and then everything's bridging away from me. And then it costs me more to try and catch up to where things are going. And I'll give another example anecdotally. So Subber had its original collection on Solana, and then they expanded to Ethereum, the new collection. They were moving that way. And so like I bought there because it was a little bit cheaper. Like they weren't 1-to-1, right? Like it was a little bit cheaper to get Freaks on Ethereum than to go for the Solana keys. And now they're like, oh, you actually have to have 2 of those, and then we're going to condense it back to a Solana project. So now I had to pay more than I would have had to just get the original Solana one, to basically burn 2 Ethereum ones to now get back to a Solana collection. And it feels like the same thing happening here, where it's like, okay, I bought a whole bunch of Ethereum assets for Parallel, and now you're like deprecating those in a way that's probably going to punish me for being an early adopter or a collector on Ethereum.
Yeah.
I don't vibe with this. This doesn't feel good. And I haven't seen enough people talking about this. Like I feel like everybody's just sort of like going along with it. It's like, well, that's how it goes. But like, yo, it's continuously, I feel like I'm spending more to be an early adopter when you do shit on Ethereum and then getting punished for it. I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about this. It's now happening to me on multiple collections.
It's generally the feeling, right? Is that like things are moving away from Ethereum, and that's why
But punishing, like literally not finding ways to actually like make it better or pay for your gas or like whatever it is, dude. Like that to me is not Web3. That to me is not fucking cool. So I don't know, man. It kind of frustrates me, and it doesn't make me want to fuck with you.
All right,
so, valid point. Good. Yeah. I think I don't know, man. It was always part of the thesis and of the talk, right? Like way back when roll-ups started launching and all of that. I was like, yeah, eventually most transactions will happen on L2s, and only the critical stuff will happen on ETH, right? And we seem to all be okay with it, and you know, it's one thing to be okay with it, but if you still supported the team or a project that you bought into consciously, like, yeah, I think, you know, it's on the team to try to remove as much friction as possible to continue to have those collectors, those initial like Genesis supporters of your ecosystem. If not, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's a very valid point, and I don't understand why more projects don't take that initiative to reach out to those collectors. You know, we've talked about it before, whether it's like a new extension of the project or an improvement upon it. You know, it seems to be like, hey, if you're not keeping tabs on everything that we're saying, you're going to miss out, and that's on you, and it's not right. That doesn't sit well with me. And it's the same with this, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to upgrade to this new contract, or you're going to have to come and claim this, and it's going to cost you so much. I mean, at some point, yeah, it's going to break. I think we're getting there to that point, Give. I think whatever survives on Ethereum, I think is going to be just like prime assets, right? Like you're going to have your punks, your squiggles, and maybe a couple of others of these PFP original projects, right? But I do think when it comes to the additional functionality that these things can have, that's going to happen outside of it, right? It's going to happen on the L2s. It's going to happen on other chains, and that's fine. You just need to figure out a way to bring your holders with you without continuously fucking, yeah, like draining them from their ETH, right? It's just a fact.
It's a precarious situation that we're in. There's still a lot of really great products being built on Ethereum as well. So we're here. Yeah. So Wolverine's in chat. I don't know what's going on. I'm speaking through the Restream chat here. Hello. To comment here on your comments. So I'm speaking through there. Nifty Castle, I believe. Gift, is that your ability to comment to the commenters?
Why?
I just don't know what's happening.
Feds? I don't know what's going on.
I think this is going to hurt for you know, I've been in crypto, whatever. This has just been getting crazier over here with the Base God meme token while we're on base. I think it's literally 100x. I think this hurts. I think 100x.
Q, how come you weren't dropping this alpha? How come I didn't really? Did you? And I just wasn't there for it.
I dropped Base God Command F in the Telegram chat, and me and 0xBK were actually lamenting. So if you go all the way back, me and 0xBK were lamenting this move, because this was back in this is when we found Base, by the way. It was like December 14th we started to get involved. Base God launches on the 21st, and we're lamenting in here on the Telegram chat, like, damn it, this sucks, all this stuff.
Going nowhere, nothing's happening.
Yes. Yeah, team rugs. All that
and you
stuff.
You didn't keep a moon bag. You didn't keep a little baggie.
I cannot believe that went 100x. That is absolutely that just literally dagger to the heart. But there are a couple other base tokens, you know, once you see success like that,
Mochi,
it can be a flywheel.
Dude,
On-chain dinos.
On-chain dinos, I still don't have one. Again, one of the things that I'm fading that I fucking
10x.
Dude,
10x?
Dude, Mochi last week off of the NFT again. People, we didn't know when they were minting. I missed the NFT, and I could have gotten that. But at least I have the token. That token is doing like better than Toshi recently. I guess just because it's the newer, shinier one. Yeah, but Base is really picking up, and maybe this is a good segue to talk a little bit about Farcaster. You know, if you've been hanging out with us, we've been talking about we've been talking about Base, all the opportunities to zig when everybody else is zagging, and I've been making a case for Base. I know Q, you were early too, as well. But I've been really explaining my thesis on why I'm bullish on Base for a while, and it feels like momentum is moving there. So hopefully y'all been paying attention and maybe, you know, looking over there.
Yeah, I can do that. I also dropped something else. Marty McFly was mentioning ZK NFT play over here. So do your own research. Again, NFT, but he dropped that in the Telegram chat. Wanted to give you all that. Appreciate you, Marty.
Thank you, Marty.
But NFT play over here on ZK Sync.
I thought Marty would play things close to the chest and not.
What is this? What is this?
You see, that's what makes me think you're not as evil as you pretend to be.
Wait, what is?
If you're farming ZK Sync, you can use this site and can mint 20 NFTs for 25 cents each, and then it gets you 20 transactions, etc. So I don't know much about it. It's called zkstars.io. I'll drop it in private chat for you as well, GIF. Yeah, we could do a deep dive maybe tomorrow. Folks, we have about 3 minutes left in this show. We want to keep these to a hard hour. I know it's tough to fit everything in. GIF, you did have the Farcaster comment, though. So Saigar was mentioning some Farcaster news, and apparently adoption has been skyrocketing as well. So maybe we end the show here talking about Farcaster and what you guys are seeing.
Yeah, I just want this. This is going to be the week that I hop into it, I'm sure. I have app fatigue. I don't want to be signing up for more apps, but this is the time to be getting into interesting ones. And because it's apparently a lot, I think most that it's built on optimism, but apparently Base is like integrating a lot of things there. They just launched
the same stack
primitives. Okay, that makes sense. So Base just launched some kind of new primitive for developers called Frames. I joined in on their conversation. They had a cool space talking about them last week, and it's basically a way for devs to like really innovate in a very fast, easy way to create interesting applications that integrate well into Warpcast. And so there's people doing now like one-click mints for new types of NFT experiments over there and other types of interesting gamifications using these frames. And this is things that I'm picking up and hearing about without even being on the fucking app. And so again, because Base is building over there, I'm much more interested, and it seems like everybody else is getting more interested.
Okay, so here's what we can do. Let's have a deep dive. Let's have like a Farcaster themed episode tomorrow, if possible. I know there's a ton of stuff, but we can take a deeper dive. Saigar saying Farcaster itself is a decentralized protocol deployed on chain and has no centralized servers. So what I'm getting out of this is another, social fi opportunity. Of course, they're attacking it in a different way. Biggie, have you joined the app, and do you find this potentially interesting, or do you think it can be successful?
Dude, interesting 100%. Like I said, I think SocialFi will do, I don't know. I'm just convinced that between now and end of bull cycle, there will be one that will be prevalent, amongst all. And right now, this is the flavor of the month. A lot of people are playing into it. Like I said, my concern there is that, again, it's kicking off in a very degen heavy way. Not against that. Just, to me, like the real adoption will come when, you actually have some people that want to be there. They want to spend time there and actually socialize and form cool groups. And so while this initial degen pump, little lead magnet that's bringing people over is great. Very much like Friendtech, I want to see that play out in the longer time frame. And so I'm playing around for now. If I see something like a crazy little degen token that convinces me, like maybe I'll take a small punt here and there. But I'm not gonna declare it, the new greatest thing. I don't know, what was it when fucking Friendtech happened? Everybody was fucking sort of like, dude, this is different. Like, oh my god, it's gonna.
That's the exact sentiment that I was questioning before. Is whenever number goes up, everybody's like, this feels different, man. This is it, man. This is the shit, the best thing ever made, man.
So I agree with you guys on this statement. I do wonder what the balance is, because Ethereum was probably like that when it launched, right? The Ethereum ICO was a lot like that. It was like, holy shit, everybody's making fucking money here. Or everybody's doing that. It's like, I agree with what the overall sentiment. I just wonder if you don't have that, like some of those turn into legitimate projects.
Some of them do,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that like it's the whole thing that you were pointing out too, Q, is like, oh, I love it at 5 Sol, at 10 Sol, it's the greatest thing that ever existed. At 20 Sol, this is the goated blue chip that everybody fucking slept on. And then when it dips back down to 2 Sol, you're like, I told you it's trash. It's that same fucking thing. And you know what? Actually, shout out to VGF, who's had some great posts in the last, 24 to 48 hours talking about this conundrum that builders are in, where it's like, the market does whatever it does regardless of what you're doing. You can just be head down, building, doing what you said you're going to do, and the market's going to be freaking out and reacting to all different types of shit and creating all kinds of noise that has nothing to do with your product or what you're actually shipping sometimes. It's just the nature of this fucking beast, and part of why Web3 is so hard. And part of why, again, it's like somebody like a Luca who can manage to do like multiple things well at the same time is such a fucking like, dude, yeah, that's a super rare Pokemon. There's not that many builders that can figure out how to manage these different things.
DP saying, y'all already know how I feel about D-Social. The only play worth a damn is Reach. Big shout out there. I mean, look, like it's tough to build in Web3, like you guys are saying. I do feel like one of the really, really positive things, like it's hard doing this. It's hard getting up every free. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? Like my fucking grandfather roofed houses for 60 years. Like take this
in
with a grain
the
of
middle
salt,
of the summer in Houston.
Yeah, dude. So take that first before I say it. Disclaimer. I know that we're behind a computer screen, all that stuff. But dude, it's very exhausting to be up here doing this stuff. But at the end of the day, man, like the community that we've formed, and I know that sounds fucking, cliche as fuck. That is a real superpower, man. And the thing we haven't really done yet is like try to kind of unlock that. And we'll try to do giveaways here or there for you guys and like hook you up with like if you need any type of connections to people that we might know, like just hit us up, man. Because I think that really is a superpower of what NFT Live is, what Web3 is, just everything that we're building, man. Like it really is kind of indirectly just growing the garden. It might not feel that way, you know what I mean? But it really is like a special thing to have you guys here.
It's very organic what we do, and yeah, it's not always easy.
All right, we are headed up out of here. I did have this last post because we didn't touch Oni at all, but it looks like they have a space here in just a moment at 4 p.m. So shout out to Oni, but we do have to run, guys and gals. This was NFT Live. We're just starting the week, trying to get our feet up under us, as you could tell. But Biggie Poppins gifted. We'll go around the try box here. Say what's up, and let's get out of here.
OVOT. It's good to be back, although I never left. Love you, fam. See you. And let's see what this week has in store for us. Much love.
Yeah, we never made it back around to really talking about Say. So I'm curious. Quick take, Satoshis. Did you look at them? Do you have any initial thoughts?
I did. They're a free mint. They seem to have been doing well. So the fact that they're 60 is nice, and they seem to have a good community, good team there. It's just tough for me to kind of have low or like high expectations for a free mint. Like awesome, super low expectations. You guys seem to be okay.
All right. So fair. All right. We hit it at the end. Lots of stuff happening over there. Shout out Sans for hopping on Say What. We'll be back tomorrow morning on the X with Say What and GM Web3 now. And more NFT Live. Our vibe, our tribe.